There's nothing that's off limits.
Okay.
You could ask me anything personal.
Good.
You could do whatever you want. And then when you're done, you could make, if you want to make like a 1 minute or less, a minute or less segment that I would post it if that's what you want. Or I can just post the link in my profile of your channel and you'll get more people like that because I have 50 something thousand.
Okay.
Whatever you want. You're coming here in good faith.
Yes.
I'm acting in good faith. I will support you because I like to help people.
That's amazing.
And that's part of what I do.
Yeah.
So like this woman came over today. I had no idea. She went to Harvard, PhD in Harvard, and is on the foundation of all these different things. A dealer who bought one of my pieces came this morning. He wanted to bring an artist. I said the artist couldn't make it. I said the artist can come over. Then I found out that this woman works with the Morgan Library, and I thought it would be cool to meet her because she's on all these on all these boards, and she was a genius. And it was an extraordinary experience. But every time I lecture, I always say if I can help people, we can talk about this because this is crucial to what I do.
Okay. No problem.
I just posted this art piece I made today, which was. It takes this. Are you recording or do you want to start?
Oh, I want to start, but just every 30 minutes it will cut, so I have to go and run up and record. Okay, so I think it has started, so I would.
So like, well, just this.
I'll cut. Yeah.
This is important, and you could cut it. It takes the same energy to say yes as it does to say no. So I've been through a lot of difficult things in my life, and I love to help people. It's part of my remit of what I do and how I do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So anyone who watches this has a question, if they have manners, and approach me with kindness, and I will help. If I can help, I shall help.
Okay, no problem.
Don't ask me to sell your art. Don't ask me to get... No, not you.
Okay.
Not you. I don't want people asking me to get them a gallery in New York. I don't want people ask me to help them sell their art. I can't sell my own art, so I can't sell yours.
Okay, no problem.
That's not for you. That's a general disclaimer.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. Okay, yeah, thank
go
you.
Ahead, do what you gotta do.
Okay, so hello everybody. Today I am here with
Kenny Schachter.
And
do you know my name?
Yes, I know your name. I know your name. But I love to ask the people or to let the people know who you are through your own words, I guess. So
how many hours do you have?
About 30 minutes. Okay, sorry. I'm someone that is like, I can't take a joke, I guess.
Oh, I only joke.
Okay.
With dead seriousness.
Okay. Deadpan?
No.
Okay.
I don't take myself seriously.
Okay.
But I'm deadly serious about what I do and how I do it.
Okay, nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so could you give us a brief background of who you are?
Brief?
Yeah.
I don't do brief.
Express yourself.
You have to understand, half what I say will be meant in jest.
Okay.
I am a self-taught artist, writer, and teacher at universities and high schools sometimes. So I do anything and everything you could do under the umbrella of art. That's what I do.
That's
and who
nice.
I am.
Okay. And I just have a few questions, about 8 questions for you.
I don't care how many questions you ask or what you ask me.
Okay, so
fire away.
How do you describe beauty and innovation in art?
Beauty?
Yes. What is beauty to you?
I have 2 fantasies in life.
Okay.
One is because I write a little bit on occasion provocatively. Well, I just ruthlessly, honestly, I should say. I don't do anything to provoke anyone. I'm passionate about what I do and sensitive, people would be surprised to know, and comparatively kind-hearted. And but my fantasies are I'm a coward in real life in most ways, other than in art, and I humiliate myself and fail regularly. Okay. Including this morning, I made a complete fool of myself, and it makes me actually squirm. Oh. But that's when I know that, you can't go forward without stumbling backward. So one of my fantasies is to punch someone who's a bad actor. Okay. And not to be petrified and fearful and just flick my hair and carry on. That's just facetious. And the other one is to make something in the classical sense of beautiful.
Nice.
Because I study philosophy and, like I said, and political science, and have a grad degree that's unrelated to art. The first art class I ever took, I was teaching. So what sells in the art market? The art market is one of the most reductive, narrow-minded, myopic realms that exists. And what do people want to buy? Things that are, generally speaking, attractive or popular and easy to transport, store, and move around. And I don't qualify. My artwork is more conceptual and unwieldy and wildly inconsistent. So I'm thinking now, like for my next project, like somebody said to me that my art lacked emotion, while other people say that my art is replete with emotion. So I thought, I wish I could make a flower. What's beautiful? A landscape, a sunset. I mean, I find beauty in things that many people would find repulsive. There's a fine line between seductive and what makes people recoil. So, I mean, Paul Tech, who's an artist I'm most interested in, among the artists I'm most interested in, made these sculptures that were encased in very, very minimalistic vitrines. He was critiquing minimalism, post-minimalism, but they also were very visceral and flesh-like, and for me, captured this notion of simultaneously fragility and vulnerability of the flesh. And I found them to be extraordinarily touching, moving, and quite extraordinarily stunning. So I would like to make something beautiful. So now I'm thinking of using some still lifes by the artist Hayam Sutin, a glorious painter, of one of my favorite artists, and to extrapolate his flowers and try to reinterpret them. So what do I find beautiful? Something that touches me, moves me, and gives me chills. But it's a very open notion of beauty.
Okay. So who do you describe as being a successful artist? What does successful artist mean?
Well, I mean, I'll revert back to the previous
No problem.
explanation of an artist that moves me, Paul Tech. And he said doing is succeeding in and of itself. And how do you measure success? That's a great question, because everyone has a different idea of what constitutes success. In the most basic, dumbest idea, it's financial success. We live in a world, there are various ideologies, whether it's communism, fascism, extremism of any sort, religious fervor, and all of these things. But in the end, capitalism seems to be pretty much the prevailing way as a guidepost or a measuring stick as to what constitutes success in the widest held belief. So for me, it's very frustrating not to be able to. My kids are the only ones. No, that's okay. You can not cut it, because I'm doing some interview with this wonderful young artist. So I love you, and I'll call you back. Everything is okay? Are you even there? Hello? My kids are the only ones I call.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very hard to make a living as an artist. And even though I'm old, I consider myself an emerging artist, because I've done many different things under the rubric of art, like I mentioned. And I've really gone full force as an artist only within the last 10 years. So my art market is embryonic, and an emerging artist in every notion, every definition of the word other than age. So for me, success is having a platform, having opportunities. You have to make your own opportunities. I don't believe in luck or good fortune. You make your own fortune. Of course, I'm making some sweeping generalizations, but of course I would like to make a living from the thing that I love the most to do, right? The things I most have passion for are writing, teaching, and making work, but they're the most difficult to have financial remuneration for doing. So for me, success, I think art is a reflection of the social, political, economic, and technological times we live in. So art is self-expression, but it's also communication. So a masterpiece of any stripe cannot exist it exists physically, volume, taking up space. In the bushes, you need to finish the equation, an audience, another set of eyes, and a dialogue. So fostering dialogue, communication, relationships, some form of community, as vague as that sounds. So I think I'm very, very successful because I've painstakingly clawed my way to an audience and to whatever opportunities I have. And I'm older, and I don't want to be young again, but I wish I could have had the clarity of thought and purpose that I've had over the last 10 years for a longer. I wish I had more time.
More time.
To do more things.
Okay.
And help more people.
That's amazing. So what's the most exciting thing happening to you today or
today
in life?
Being Sunday, May 11th, 2025, I feel very grateful that my 3.5 decades look, life is a slog. You're trudging along and pushing constantly. So how did you phrase it again?
What's the most exciting thing?
Right, so the most exciting thing is sitting here talking to you right now. I'm grateful that you've come very far within the city on a Sunday afternoon, that you wanted to take the time to speak to me. I'm grateful, I'm appreciative. For anyone that watches this, I thank you. And I would like to say that anyone that watches this, if you contact me, I'm ubiquitous on social media, and I reply to every DM within 20. I don't have a team. I am the team. I work by myself. I have a few piecemeal friends that help me incrementally for various projects as I need help, because I don't have the means to have full-time help, but I don't want full-time help. I love and appreciate I'm getting comfortable in my skin later in life. But anyway, so my successes are having the opportunity to do the things I'm doing. I just had an exhibition at an extraordinary gallery in New York City, Jupiter, which is a young guy from Congo, Gabriel Kalango, and it was an extraordinary experience. It had its ups and its downs. And I'm on my way to London to do an exhibition that I'm curating of artworks by Paul Tech, who died in 1988 of AIDS. And this is at Thomas Dane Gallery, and it opens May 28th. And right before that, I'm doing a fun performance/exhibition with an artist at his house with his young children and 2 chickens that live in the back of the house. And I'm working with all of them, from the children to the artist, Jimmy Connolly, and his 2 children and their 2 chickens, to make an installation and a conceptual artwork. And that, my kids think I'm crazy, and obviously I'm not exactly fitting within any pigeonholed, compartmentalized idea of a norm. I'm not normal, I'm a little special, as they say. But I do what I want. I try not to have regrets. I like to, like I said, do the things that I'm moved to do. And that excites me. Every day excites me. I wake up with hope, even though it doesn't always pan out.
Oh, yeah. You just have to go with the flow.
You have to keep trying, keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
And don't give up.
Yeah. And what are some sources to learn more about contemporary history, art history?
Well, again, you could write me a DM and I'll give you a list of things that I look to each and every morning when I start my day. ArtNet is probably the widest platform for art journalism.
ArtNet.
Yeah,
Okay.
most people will know Art News, ArtNet, the art newspaper, and then something that most of your viewers and many of mine don't know about is a website called arts.org. Wait, I think it's artjournal.com. I'll get you the exact address because it's something that it's called artsjournal.com. ARTS journal. And what they do is they scan all the newspapers and magazines across the world and they cull various media outlets for anything and everything to do with, they have different sections like philosophy, theater, film, various different areas of arts and learning and etc. And fine art, visual arts is one category. So I subscribe to that, and that's amazing source of information. And the New York Times on Friday has good arts coverage, and the Financial Times of all places has extraordinary weekend section, which I super highly recommend. Then I'll give you a great little secret anarchistic pointer, which is there's a website called Archive, the word archive, archive.ph, P is in Paul, H is in Henry. And I shouldn't say this because I'm a journalist as well as the other things I described. You could jump paywalls by just copying the URL of a given site that's protected, paste it in, and then you could read any article.
Wow.
And I take half the salary at ArtNet to remain in front of the paywall. So anyone and everyone that would like to read my writing has access. Access to me is very important. The art world is very exclusionary, very hierarchical. It operates in economics of what they call a zero-sum basis. Every person's advancement is at the measurable expense of somebody else. And I don't like that.
Okay. So could you explain this sentence? Art is a basic source of compassion.
I wish more people spend time looking at art, thinking about art, and art is my only solace in life besides being with my family, my children. And I lost my mom when I was very young, and I had everyone's had trauma.
Yeah.
I'm not any different. I lost one of my kids 6 years ago, and were it not for my other children and art, I wouldn't be here talking, and you wouldn't be here, and good chance I wouldn't be here. So art gives me passion, compassion, and it imbues my life with meaning. And it distinguishes our species from all the other species that we make art. And thankfully, it's been coveted in various degrees since it came off the wall of caves. So thinking, appreciating, looking, the harder you look, the more you see. So I just think that for me, art is very humanistic. There's a generosity of spirit, which is very important to me. I love meeting people like you. Just today on a Sunday, you're the 5th person that's come through this door today that I've spent time with. And I'm just really, I don't believe in luck. I believe you create your own opportunities, like I said. And art as a means of communication. I used to have a bit of a speech issue. I had a stutter, and it was very difficult for me to relate to other people. It still is a little bit. I like children and animals. But art is it's a language and it's a means of communication, but yeah, it's a very positive force, and it's nothing short of a force.
Okay. And you were in the fashion industry once in your life? No?
I mean, I was, because I was casting around for something creative to do that could be a vocation, a life. And I didn't even know that art galleries existed until I was 26. I didn't go to a museum until I was in university. That's when I first stumbled upon contemporary art, and I call myself idiot savant. I thought an artist made a painting and it went to a museum. I didn't know there was any intermediary. I thought that was the only dissemination and endpoint for art, until I went to Andy Warhol's estate sale in the late 80s, and that was the first time I ever was exposed to the fact that you can buy art and live with art and own it and share it. I mean, yeah, so...
Okay, because I read somewhere you went to...
I went to fashion for 5 minutes after law school, although I never for one instant, to make perfectly clear, law was never an end game. But I went to law school, quit out in the first year, told everyone, my family, my employers, I was in night school. There was no night school. I taught myself the law just to follow through with what I said I would do, fulfill the obligation of committing to go to school. I self-taught the classes and self-taught the bar exam, passed the bar exam, and then used law as a stepping stone to be able to work part-time, to enable me to the freedom to travel abroad and to teach myself about art history.
Amazing, fantastic. And how do you view, or what is pigeonholing in the art world? Would you think it will keep going on forever?
It does and it doesn't, and it will and it won't.
Nice.
So the art world, as I mentioned, is stupidly hierarchical, exclusionary, unwelcoming. And the art world wants you to do one thing, and success affirms success. So when an artist accomplishes something within a particular body of work in a particular context, they only want more of the same. So the art world pays a lot of lip service to nurturing and facilitating new audiences to further the appreciation of art and its viability as a way of life, and to sustain artists and dealers and the whole ecosystem, museums and foundations, etc. But it's bullshit, because it's just they run from change and innovation because they just want more of the same. More of the same is being looked up and down. You go into a gallery, before you cross the threshold, judgments start to calculate. Art market, art world is very transactional. It's a quid pro quo. Like, everyone wants something in return. I mentioned the zero-sum game where you're getting an opportunity at the expense of somebody else. And the art world is like, they don't want change, they don't want new, they don't want anything other than the same people, the same gallery selling the same artists to the same collectors, and the status quo is all they ever want and all they ever strive for. So the art world puts you in a neat little box, draws a nice little line around you. And it's funny because, I mean, the second you just do things in your own manner without following any preconceived notion, if you're eccentric or unorthodox or unconventional, you're immediately labeled as crazy.
No, I thought that.
Or, yeah, thank God I'm crazy. But, like, I'm not crazy in the clinical sense. I'm a little bit neurotic and rife with anxiety. But I think I'm a normal person. For me, one of the most defining characteristics as an artist and a writer and a teacher is a deep well of curiosity. And yeah, like Paul Tech, some of the artists whose work I most admire and am inspired by, they constantly flitted from from one body of work to another, and they suffered vastly for it because that's not what the art market wants. They want, like Damien Hirst will make 27,000 of each painting in 3,000 sizes, being a little bit facetious, but an artist should challenge themselves first and foremost, and repeating yourself is not really a recipe for going forward.
Okay. And as a Black woman like me in the art world, as an emerging artist, what should I be careful of?
No matter what color you are, ethnicity, whatever orientation you have in life and in your private spaces, it doesn't make a difference what you should be leery of, what you should be cautious of, and everyone is the same. There's a Bell's curve of morality and integrity, and you should always start from the assumption that no one is to be trusted, and you must always protect yourself, and you must always, my expectations start at 7 degrees below zero. You should always expect the worst, and have your expectations should be in line with such a perception, because you'll never be disappointed. But it's more difficult for a woman and for a person of color, but it's difficult for everybody. And there are more opportunities for artists of color today than ever before. But even like the Guerrilla Girls, who were legendary, profound artists and thinkers, if you look at the numbers, there's been more opportunities for women and artists of various backgrounds. There's more opportunities. The floodgates have been opened in the past 10 years, more so than ever before. But if you look at how many Black dealers there are, and curators and museum directors, it's shamefully small. And if you look at the amount of women that are achieving parity in the auction markets and in the highest level of gallery success, it's still ridiculous. So it's not going to be easy for you.
Okay.
It's not easy for me, but it's much more difficult for you. So you always have to protect yourself and be careful. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean,
but that should just make you more challenged.
Yeah, to work harder to get what I want.
Yeah.
Maybe we could go upstairs to take a look at the art there, and just talk more there.
These are all books that I've either written or contributed to.
Amazing.
Which are very important to me.
Is there like the one you cherish the most?
I contributed to this Paul Tech book published by MIT Press, and I helped the Reina Sofia to curate a show and advise the Whitney on their show. That was one of the high points of my career. Curated a Paul Tech show at Pace in London in 2013 before they began representing the estate. And now we'll have this show at Thomas Dane, one of the great galleries. Being an art curator takes less. It's easy to become a curator than a hairdresser or a taxi driver, an Uber driver. In England, in London, it takes 4 years to be a taxi driver. They call it the knowledge, to learn the schematics of the city. And the city is I lived there for 15 years and I couldn't find my way to the newsagent. It's so complex because it's not a grid. But to be a curator the label is one of the most misused terms in the English language. But being a curator just means choosing things that move you, that you like. So there's really no hard and fast definition of what is a curator. A curator is someone who organizes things for various reasons into different accumulations for many different purposes. You could be the curator of fill in the blank, anything, of old shoes or new shoes or bottle caps or anything. So a curator is just, in the best of all worlds, it's someone who has some degree of scholarship. Like I hate curators of private museums with no, like
how does one even get there?
Where?
How?
Where?
Okay.
You say how, and I say get where. Where?
Get to like curate.
So many different, there's, again, like what I love about art is, I am the only one that has my job. Okay. If you call it a job, I'm unemployable for all intents and purposes. But I don't fit, I'm not quantifiable. I do many different things, all to keep myself firmly grounded within the world of art. So whether I'm organizing a no reserve auction called the Hoarder, which I've done 6 of, that's to create an opportunity to make a living that helps put together the pieces in between my writing, my teaching, and my art making. That's a way that I was selling digital art for 2 years, and that was a way to help make a living. So, yeah. But I curated shows for my whole career. Why did I curate shows? Because I wanted to create a context for my work to be seen when nobody in their right mind would even consider me. It took me 20 years out of maybe 30 years to even be taken quasi-seriously as an artist, and most people still don't even recognize me as an artist. It took 15 to 20 years to be able to identify in the mirror as a writer, and that's because it took me that long to develop an audience of readers. And if you're not having, to be a writer and not be read is sort of defies the notion, the idea of being a writer. So yeah, I believe in the key to art, in a nutshell, is tenacity, perseverance, stick-to-itiveness, never taking no for an answer. Don't listen to me, don't listen to your teachers, and don't listen to your My dad put down his fist on the table and said, "You promised you would quit this if you weren't making a living in a year," after he spent my whole childhood telling me to do whatever I wanted to do. So I found something I wanted to do. It took 7 years. And when I finally started to do it, he adamantly tried to dissuade me from doing it, because it took me, I'm still trying to make a living doing what I love to do. And no one will ever stop me, not him or anyone else. Not even myself when I am rife with self-doubt, which is regularly. So tenacity, perseverance, doggedness, and just, yeah, the refusal to capitulate. I always say you have to compromise, but don't give in.
Okay. Okay.
Ta-da!
That's nice. And that would be an advice for like an emerging artist.
Of course, like it's funny because you went to the Art Institute of Chicago. I was doing a studio critique there a few years ago, and in the middle of a sentence, I caught myself, because in the past, when I did critiques over the last 35 years, I would always say, find a gallery you relate to the aesthetic, find like-minded people affiliated with the gallery, meet the artist, ingratiate yourself in that community, eventually meet the dealer. Don't tell the dealer what you do and show them images of your work at the opening, but slowly, piecemeal, find your way in to get a foothold, and then try to get a berth in a group show. Now, in a million years, I would never even in my wildest dream try to tell an artist that they should look to affiliate with a gallery. You have the tools today that I never had when I was getting started, like social media, digital NFTs, empty storefronts, because there's been a systematic migration towards e-commerce, so there's empty storefronts up and down every street in every town in every city. Take over a temporary space. I used to trade stuff, do temporary jobs for people. By any means necessary, find a way to do what you want to do, what you have to do. Take over a space, do a digital version of a physical work, band together with your friends, steal a mailing list from a gallery, and just in a grassroots way, try to build a network of people. So that's the only way to do things, is to do it yourself and pull yourself up by the bootstraps, because you can't rely on anyone for anything on any occasion.
Okay. I think that's all for the interview.
That's good.
So now,
I'm happy to say, so now what?
So now that we're done, what title would you give this video so I could post it? Just spontaneously.
What's the title to our interview?
Yes.
You still film me?
Oh, should I turn it?
No. I'm an open book.
Okay.
I want you to put it all in. You don't have to, I'd rather you not cut any of it.
Oh.
It's up to you.
Up to me, yes.
But I'd rather you not.
Okay, noted.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the title? That's a tough question. That's the only question I don't have a ready answer for. Give me a second and I will. Do what you want to do what you have to do, and never take no for an answer. Okay. So that's not a good title. Can I get back to you?
You can get back to me.
To be continued. No, like, just don't stop. Just, life is short. Life is short. Do what you have to do. Do what you want to do.
Okay, that's great.
Just whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Perfect.
You could pick something from our talk. But I would wish you would just leave this all in one go from before we even started, because I think we talked about a lot of good things.
Okay, I'm going to try
but it's
my
up
best
to you. Okay.
Do that. The ones I'm not comfortable with, I can remove.
Not comfortable with something I said?
Just looking at the paper, I'm trying to be professional.
You know what? Don't, just be yourself.
Okay.
I let you record everything, and I think you should keep everything that.
Okay.
I
will.
Let the question. You don't have to memorize your question. Just Just be yourself. That's more than enough, and I think you're glorious at what you do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for. You can shake my hand at the end. Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.